Yes, yes, yes. I'm here just for a minute, y'all, to talk about this weather really quick. You guys know that sometimes on this channel, we kind of cover the weather and keep people updated. That's why we have that Weather Barbie button. I think Dee is going to go live in just a little bit, probably, and then we will jump off of here. But we just wanted to quickly cover this weather really quick and what's going on around the map. Everybody hit that like button coming in, guys. Sometimes we do the weather on this channel, right? We do cover the weather sometimes over here, y'all. So for just a quick minute, we want to talk about all the flooding that's going on, all the blizzards that are happening right now, guys. Everything all the way down from up from South Bend, Indiana, all the way over to Buffalo, New York. We do the weather over here. So some people requested me to do the weather yesterday. Hi, everybody. Everybody hit that like button coming in. Okay, Dr. Nikki, I'll be sure to check it out. Rhode Island is flooding right now as we speak. Everybody hit that like button as you're coming in. They are probably about a good 4 foot deep in water over there in Maine. You guys hit that like button coming in. We're going to talk about the weather just for a little while, right? And then we're going to jump off and go over to Dee's channel. They've got whipping winds that are pushing the water onshore as we speak right now. So way on the East Coast side, right? We are dealing with gas stations are flooded out. Long Island, New York area, they are in perhaps a good 2 foot inches of water along the swamps, along the Long Island area, guys. All around this area, everything around the Long Island, New York area, all throughout Maine, it is flooded with water. Hi, guys, everybody coming in. You guys, if you guys know this channel, sometimes we do cover the weather when things get really, really bad. We are also talking about that Buffalo, New York storm, right? We are also talking about all the way up through Michigan. Michigan right now, they're almost in a whiteout type of storm, almost where the snow is blinding snow all throughout Michigan, leading all the way to New York area. We're talking about the Buffalo City area. We're talking about them shutting down that I-94 area in Michigan where there was a multi-vehicle crashes because there's complete whiteout, almost like what they're calling this storm winter storm Elliott, right? Because this storm is so bad, right? So all of this snow, the snow, wind, cold, and rain has triggered travel, right? They've closed a lot of these airports down, right? All these canceled flights, all these people that thought they would be home for Christmas or, on their way home for Christmas. A lot of them got sadly mistaken last night. Right now, we're dealing also not just with blizzard. We're also dealing with the cold storm, right? Like in Chicago right now, they are having 23 miles an hour wind. Those of you that are coming in, hit that like button, guys. As you guys say hi to each other walking in, you guys, sometimes we do talk about the weather on this channel. We do have a Weather Barbie button. Sometimes Barbie does cover the weather when things get really, really bad. So yes, we're going to talk about it a little while before Dee goes live tonight. We're going to talk about everything that is going on all the way up from Benton Harbor, Michigan, all the way down to South Bend, Indiana. Right now, they are near whiteout snow where they cannot see in front of them. That means the visual, everything around them, they cannot see. The blizzard has escalated, and they said that this blizzard may go on for the next 2 or 3 days. All the way on the East Coast side, they are talking about floods that are 2 to 4 foot flooding all throughout Maine. Those of you that are new to this channel, that's right. See that Weather Barbie? Sometimes we do Weather Barbie over here. We cover what's going on in the Midwest. Right now in the Midwest, Storm Elliott has taken over, right? Kansas City looking at a 9 degree weather. So all of these areas where they are right now in San Diego, they're doing pretty good. It's 59 degrees. So those of you that are on the West Coast right now, you may be feeling a little bit of that chill. And that kind of lets you know what is actually going on around the world around you. So you guys hit that like button real quick for me before Dee goes live. Um, and we're just going to chop it up for a minute and just give people something. Everybody's requested that I do this weather. So I'm just going to come on here and jump on and do this weather right now. The I-94 is completely shut down, multiple vehicle accident, and that is because of that whiteout snow effect, right? That is where it is the blizzard, and everything has become so much they cannot see in front of them. Also, this snow is going to be mixed with rain. They are talking about rain being mixed in with heavy snow. Right now in Vermont, it is at a 25 degrees. Some areas of Vermont is saying they're down to 15 degrees, right? So a little bit of sun by tomorrow, but not much. Okay, it says negative 23 miles an hour wind with 50 to 60 gust winds in Toledo. If that lets you guys know what is really, really going on right now, right? The wind is biting, right? They are saying it feels like little bites all over your face with these below zero wind chills. The women that are going out in this weather without, most men, they kind of grow in their beards and stuff to protect their face. Women, you might want to wrap your face in a scarf to keep you from this biting wind as we approach the holidays, right? We are not too far away from Christmas. Those of you that don't celebrate Christmas, that still does not mean to go get all the water and the supplies that you might need to get you through the next couple of days, because this blizzard could increase by tomorrow. Some places are still open on Christmas Eve, but things may shut down before you know it. So tonight, if you have a chance or an opportunity, get out there and get all the things that you need. Right now in Cleveland, it is one degree. So if that lets you know right now what the temperatures are like, yes, Weather Barbie is back for a little while. We're talking really quick about this weather. I think what everybody is shocked by is all the flooding that is happening over there on the East Coast right now, all throughout Maine. They are talking about things being flooded 2 to 4 feet in some areas worth of water. We're talking about waist deep weather. Waist deep water, right? So as we move over through the Midwest, we're talking about blizzards, right? Whiteout blizzards where you cannot see in front of you. So people were traveling on these highways trying to go to and fro for Christmas. And unfortunately, that blizzard picked up very, very quickly, unbeknownst to them, and they could not see in front of their vehicles with that vehicle vehicle pileup on I-94. So you guys don't even go that way. It is negative 5 degrees in Des Moines, Iowa. So those of you that want to kind of get an ideal of the temperatures all the way in Iowa, it is negative 5. Detroit right now is at 2 degrees. We are talking about 2-degree weather in Detroit. Tonight, they will drop down to 1 degrees. So we are talking about some vicious cold weather. And even tomorrow with their warm up, it'll get up to a total of 16 degrees. But in Arizona, they're looking at 46 degrees, right? We're talking about Arizona right now, guys. Arizona is at least trying to, they're not as bad as where we are, in the perfect spotting of the Midwest. But still, as you push further to that West Coast is starting to feel some of that weather, right? They're starting to get that low temperature weather. They may not see snow. They may see snow. Greenville, South Carolina is at 11-degree weather right now. Right. That is the main concern, is losing power. That is the main concern. Make sure that you have all of your candles and everything ready just in case that they do lose power. You're not fumbling and stumbling in the dark looking for your candles. Hartford, Connecticut, right now at 12 degrees. Miss Collins said, "I'm in for the night. Was blessed to get get off work early and did my last store run before." Right, getting that last store run in. Right. All right. Arabia says, "I feel bad for the homeless, especially those that will not get shelter." Right. That's another thing. Every time we talk about this weather, right? Every time that I've done this Barbie weather channel, they always remind us about the homeless, right? They always remind us about the homeless not having anything. So you guys continue to pray for the less fortunate. In Indianapolis right now, they're looking at a 15 degrees, dropping all the way down to 4 degrees as they approach the AMs. Jacksonville, Florida, right now at 38 degrees, right? So this is giving you an idea what is going on all around. Everyone is feeling this effect, whether you are on the West Coast, whether you are on the complete side of the East Coast, like a Jacksonville, Florida, you are feeling that cold weather to get an idea of what's going on in the middle of this map, right? Kansas City right now looking at 2-degree weather. 2 degrees. So this is letting you know how bad this cold snap is, how this whiteout type of blizzard types of things are. Pups are using people. That's good. They're like, we're not going outside, right? They're like, they're like, we're not playing that. Right. So some people are saying it's super, super cold where they are. So we're going to talk about real quick. The main thing is we're worried about that Buffalo, New York area, right? That Buffalo, New York area. We're talking about Michigan, Benton Harbor area. We're talking about South Bend, Indiana area. Those are the two areas in the Midwest that are being really, really hit hard as we speak. Those two areas, all the way through South Bend, Indiana, all the way up to Benton Harbor, Michigan, they are in blinding snow right now, where basically you can step out in that snow and not be able to see, but like less than a foot or two in front of you. So imagine they are actually considered, I want to say snowed in, right? They're considered snowed in, right? So Baltimore, we're at 8 degrees. Boston is down to that 14 degrees, and they're getting that rain mixed in with that snow. So you know what that means. We're talking about dangerous ice. We're talking about snow mixed with ice, right? So some of these areas are not just getting snow. Atlanta is looking at a 10 degrees tonight. By tonight, it will be down to 10 degrees in Atlanta, surprisingly. Very rarely does Atlanta get those temperatures that low. A lot of times in Atlanta, for the many years that have gone past, we will typically be in the 20 range, and that does not happen till January. So, and I'm talking about mid-January, right? So, we get those ice storms in January with all those the lightning storms. But this year, we're kind of getting our butts handed to us early. Hit that like button coming in. Weather means sit your ass. Right. Especially if you've already got everything that you need inside of your home. Do not feel inspired to go help anyone. Do not feel like you need to be a hero. Do not feel like, oh, I need one more thing, right? Typically, it's those one more things, and oh, the grocery store is right around the corner, right? A lot of times, most accidents happen less than 5 minutes to 10 minutes from the home. So that is the last thing you want to do. Minneapolis looking at a -5-degree temperature tonight. A lot of these states are down in the negative. So you know what that means. That means, just insane. Louisville, Kentucky, right now is at 2 degrees. So as we are talking about this weather, we definitely wanted to stick kind of what's going on in Buffalo, New York, as they are actually being hit the hardest right now. They are at a 10 degree. Even though they're at 10 degree, and you say a lot of people are at the single digits. Well, the reason why it's so bad over there, because they have that whiteout snow type of effect, right? That blinding snow right now. I think they're calling this a cyclone bomb. Wow, I have not heard that yet. But listen, anything's possible. I'm at work now, and yes, the temperature is dropping fast. Right? Okay, they're talking about Kentucky getting ready to get blasted, is what they say. Kentucky is getting ready to get blasted. Okay, we've got more people that are coming in from New York talking about how brutal it is in New York. New York area, the Buffalo, New York area has a blizzard warning. It is in the red. Has a block, add me on Discord. They're talking about something else. You guys hit that like button coming in. We are quickly covering the weather. As you all know, we do the weather sometimes on this channel, right? So Norfolk, Virginia, looking at 26 degrees, right? But also, I kind of wanted to talk about that with that main big surprise of all. It is not to take anything away from the blinding snow, but but the flooding that is going on in Maine right now, all of the flooding, 2 to 4 feet of water. Gas stations are flooded out right now as we speak in parts of Maine. I am hearing that on the West Coast, they had a 6.4 earthquake on the West Coast in California, right? And then they had a follow-up earthquake right after that. That was like a 4 point something. So all around this map right now, we are looking at over 1.2 million people without power. 1.2 million without power. So guys, as you guys get all throughout the Northeast, so 1.2 million in the nation without power. And that is because of that powerful winter storm that is triggering all of these power outages, right? Floods are the natural #1 killer. I mean, we can believe that. Why? Because it happens so quickly. Orlando, Florida, looking at a 31-degree temperature by the end of this night. So if you think about it, all around the map, they are feeling what is going on in that Midwest area, right? That Midwest area, all of the lakes are frozen all throughout the New York area. All of those areas are frozen right now at this point as we speak. And all of my water fountains are all of my water fountains by my home are frozen. And I've never experienced my water fountains freezing this early in the year. Typically, my water fountains do not freeze until at least January, if there is an ice storm, right? But right now, all of my fountains are frozen. I went out there today and was like, what? Very surprised. So those of you that are running Generacs, those of you that are running generators, remember these generators cannot be indoors or inside of a garage. You have to have that generator outside. Pittsburgh looking at 12 degrees. You have to have that generator outside, right? The generators cannot be indoors. So I know sometimes the generators are coming smaller and smaller in these packages, and they're starting to look like these little portable, cute things that you can just travel around with. That is not the case. A generator must always be outside, no matter how small or how big it is. A lot of us don't buy these generators until we actually need them. We pull them out of the box. We get so excited and thinking we're helping, and we just start plugging them in around the house. That's not how it works. Make sure that generator is outside. It is built to be outside. Right now, Raleigh, North Carolina is looking at a 21 degrees, right? We're looking at 21 degrees. They will fall down into the 11 degree mark by the end, going into the AM hours. So it is going to completely freeze even more so as the night goes on. Answer your damn DM. We're gonna fight. We were waiting for you to go live. Sometimes Weather Barbie pops up, guys. Our channel. We also do the weather. Let me run and go check that. They wanted me to do the weather really quick, so we're covering this weather as we talk about what is going on in the Midwest, right? As they're talking about what is going on in the Midwest with this blind out type of snow, right? Some of these people cannot see but less than a foot or two in front of them, right? This is dangerous, dangerous weather. Right now, Reno, Nevada, 51 degrees. If you think about this, everyone is feeling the effects of this cold weather that is going on in the middle of this map. We're talking about those floods that are happening over on the East Coast, right? All, particularly most of Maine, is in 2 to 4 feet of water. Gas stations are flooded out right now. Then if you hop back over to the West Coast just had a 6.4 earthquake as of 2 days ago, and now they had another smaller earthquake yesterday, right? So all of these things that are happening all around us that is affecting the weather. Salt Lake City looking at 38 degrees by tomorrow. Even with these colder temperatures, right? It still gives you an ideal what is going on. San Antonio, even San Antonio tonight looking at 20 degrees. Like I said, over here in Atlanta, we typically don't start freezing until that second week of January. All of my water fountains are frozen right now as we speak. I'm talking about, guys, frozen solid. So guys, let me show your screen and the map. One day I will be able to do that, guys. Right now, I got to find out all the technicalities on that, because this is the third time that we are covering the weather over here. A lot of people requested me to cover this weather. Let me check damn D's messages real quick. Let me check real quick. You guys, I just haven't had the time to look at my thingy thing. So let me see. It says, oh my God, yes, I did. I sent it to you. Let me send it again, D. I'm going to send it to you again. I will send it again. Yes. Let me check. Let me go over here and check. But you guys, as we are covering all of this, the storms that are going on. So we're going to take a quick little intermission. You guys hit that like button while we're waiting. Here you go again. I know he wanted me to, I didn't check my DMs really quick. Okay. I will. So guys, we have a quick intermission. Hit that like button. And Damn D is also going to let us know when he's going live tonight, y'all. And then we're going to go over there. But they wanted me to do this weather really quick. I've only been here for 20 minutes. So I only plan to do this for, 30, 40 minutes anyway. So guys, a quick little intermission. You guys hit that like button really quick as I go make sure that this thing is sent. So let me make sure that is sent out. Let me see. How do I find? So let's see. I think I can just, let me see if I can still hear me. Let me see if everybody can still hear me. Everybody, can you still hear me? Okay, so let's see. Let me go over here to the so just a quick little brief intermission. Let me see if I can send this again. I always have to send these to D twice, right, y'all? I have to send it to him twice. I've already sent it, but evidently he didn't get it. So let's send it again. And then we'll wait for him to confirm that he it is a pretty big file. So let's see if he gets it this time, y'all. You know how D does. It takes him a little minute to get things. But I sent it to him when I got done. So did y'all hear that takeoff, that email takeoff? So we'll just wait a second. We'll wait for D to confirm. We'll wait for D to confirm that he has got it. And then we'll continue a little bit more about this weather, especially for those of you that are in Buffalo, New York. Right now, Atlanta, we are sitting at a 14 degrees. Like I said, guys, even for us, I think the lowest that, wow, we're going to get down to the single digits by tonight. Guys, that is why all of my water fountains are frozen right now. I am typically not used to having anything frozen over here. Like I said, to that second week of January. I mean, and I'm talking about when it's frozen, it's just frozen one day, right? I mean, this thing's frozen rock solid. I was out there at my water fountain knocking on it going, what? The little motor is still running on all of my fountains. I have 3 water fountains that are completely frozen. So right now we're waiting for D to respond that he got that email. That email was pretty large sending, so maybe it took a little minute for him to get it, or he just didn't see it. So we're just going to give a minute to wait to go see. You guys, they're experiencing whiteout conditions all across Western New York as we speak. You have to let your faucets drip. No, these are my water fountains outside. No, these are my water fountains outside that are frozen. They're dripping all right. My water fountains flow continuously all year long. Okay, D said he got them. D, when are you going live, D? When are you going live so we'll know? Right now, Birmingham, Alabama, they're looking at 14-degree weather, but 10 degrees as the night goes on. As the night goes on, Detroit got that 26 miles an hour freezing wind right now, guys. Like we talked about, everything that's already going on. Hi, IDK, and just saying, you guys hit that like button, come in. Yeah, we typically don't have those problems here. Just saying, where I'm at in Atlanta, I'm in the northeast area of Atlanta. We do not see any type of freezing until at least January, and the fountains are running. Okay, D said in about an hour. Okay, and we'll be off of here way before then. So shouts out to D. You guys, we're gonna go over there tonight. T-Rail is here. You guys hit that like button. Okay, so what we were talking about is Boston, right? We're talking about Buffalo, New York, right? Even though Boston is at that 38-degree mark right now, they are still experiencing chilling winds and a little bit of a snow dusting as we speak. They're talking about Boston being down to 22 degrees. That is the typical weather for us in Atlanta. When we get cold, we'll get down to 22 degrees, and that is probably the lowest sometimes that we will get. So this, I think for us, this has been about a good 5 or 6 years, maybe a little longer, that we've ever been down this low, as far as, going outside and seeing your water fountain frozen. I mean, that just does not happen. So, oh wow, down in Vermont, guys, they're looking at 15 degrees, right? Be careful, everyone that is impacted by the storm. Dr. Nikki is saying be careful. Charlotte, North Carolina, we're looking at 21 degrees, right? But we also want to talk about the dangers of this snow. We also want to talk about how many people are going through power outage. There is recorded 1.2 some odd million people without power right now as we speak. Chicago is looking at a -1 degrees. Chicago right now is at a -1. By tonight, they'll be down at -2. They are saying that Kentucky is getting ready to get super, super blasted. They said they're going to get a blast of this snow coming through Kentucky. 0 degrees. Okay, so he's saying it's 0 degrees where he is. See, look, so everybody is coming in right now. Cincinnati, they are looking at a -4 degrees. A little bit of precipitation and some rain mixed in there. So we're talking about ice mixed in with snow, creating even more of a dangerous situation to be outside. We're not telling anyone not to leave their homes or anything else, but we are saying be careful. We are saying if it's something that you don't need, please do not get stuck out in this weather. Sometimes they have what is called a whiteout. Those things can happen very quickly and rapidly. You think you're just going 5 minutes away from the home, 10 minutes away from the home, and before you know it, there's a whiteout type of situation. Louisville, Kentucky, looking at 2 degrees right now. If that gives you an idea of anything that's happening right now, 2 degrees over there in Louisville, Kentucky. They have what they're considered right now is the cold wind chill, right? Right now, even though they don't have a whole lot of snow to deal with, it is still that wind chill that they're dealing with, where it is awfully hard really to just be standing outside. We're talking about the cold, they call it biting wind. They're talking about that biting wind. These are the winds that your face needs to be wrapped up. Your lips need to be wrapped up. Those are the thinnest areas on your body is your lips. So they're talking about the reason why it feels like it's biting their skin, which means it's dangerous. So being outside right now is not a good idea. Detroit at 2 degrees. Blizzard-like conditions predicted tonight, -10 now. Wow. So we're just saying it is -10. Wow, wow, wow. A -10. Rita Ann it's -30 degrees. Wind chill at 26 miles an hour. Winds in Mansfield, Ohio, and where her daughter lives. Wow, exactly. Just stay inside. It's not worth it going outside. If they don't come home tonight, I'm close. If who doesn't come home tonight? He said they'll come. Super right. Oh, I got the dogs in the house, but they're still trying to find my 5 cat. What cats will typically do in storms like this, they will stay where they are, right? Also, too, with our pets, please be very, very hovering like over your pets when you take them outside. You do not want them to run off or take off and become panicked. So if you need to let them go outside for a minute, make sure you have a leash on them and bring them back in immediately. Do not say, oh, they have fur, they will survive. Now, typically with cats, typically with cats, sometimes when a winter panic storm happens like this, they will panic and they may hide out for a day or two. I know it will seem devastating. I know it's going to be a lot of stress if they don't come home. But listen, sometimes when they will know the weather before we know it, right? Cats know weather before we know it. And they will, if they don't think they're going to make it back home in time, or if they get, you guys, this will be surprising, if they get with another group of animals that are outside, they will instinctively group up together and huddle and stay warm for the next couple of days until they feel it's safe to go back out. So right here we have a member that he says Chicago is super cold. I got the dogs in the house, but still trying to find my 5 cats. Unfortunately, those cats may stay hidden. They may stay hidden for a while. Don't let that alarm you. Sometimes what they'll do is they will huddle together and stay warm, and instinctively they know not to get out and try to travel in this weather, trying to go back home. They have been known at night to go a few miles away from the home. And then when that weather starts, they instinctively will huddle in together like a pack. So this is what they do. So unfortunately, within the next day or so, if they don't make it home by tonight, hopefully in the next day or so, they will make it home, and you will be surprised and shocked with them running up to the porch. And you'll be like, how did you survive? So we just went over that. Also, too, we want to talk about using these generators in the home, right? A lot of us get these generators at the last minute and don't understand how they operate properly. Sometimes these generators come in small packages now, right? These portables. Sometimes people think, let me just turn it on in the garage for a few minutes. Let me just, we're only going to have it on for 2 hours in the kitchen, just temporarily until they get this electricity back up, right? Some people don't look. You said Barbie OG is trolling your cat. Some people don't look at the instructions, but remember, leave all of those generators outside. Leave all of those generators outside. They are built to be outside. I know you think, well, it's going to rain and the weather's going to get to it. They make those machines, especially for being outside in these cold temperatures. So I'm not trolling the cats. It's because I have 6 cats myself, y'all. Yeah, I didn't know OG had 5 cats. I have 6. So type in cats. You guys will see I have 5 purebred Black Panther cats, and then we have what's called our human mountain lion cat. Yo, he's almost like a human, y'all. I can't even describe it, y'all. I don't even know if we want to consider him a cat anymore. He gets a little attitude and everything, just like a human does, y'all. You know how you guys start all these cats, they all get different types of identities, and they get different types of personalities. So that's what's fun. You say people have cats. Why do you get another one? Why do you get you guys, it's just a cat thing. Milwaukee right now is looking at a -3 degrees. -3 going down into -4, back and forth, with that 50% chance of precipitation, which is that rain mixing in with that snow, creating an icy situation. Post pics of the cats, you mean on my community wall? I had one of them on my live before, y'all. I showed one of them on my live before. I brought the big monster black cat in here, and he was freaking out, but it was only for like what, 10 seconds. Maybe. He was freaked out, wondering what the fuck is going on. So Nashville, Tennessee is looking at 5 degrees right now, guys. 5-degree weather. You said you might listen to Damn D while you're working. He's going to be talking about Regina tonight, guys. I do have that rendition. Part of D's live will be me pretending to be Regina. So that's the rendition that he's doing tonight. The other part, I told him that please post a picture for babies. I told him the other part I just wasn't going to do anymore, guys. I just said I wasn't going to do any more of the Cream Regina renditions, guys, because the letters are getting longer and longer, right? The messages are getting longer and longer, right? So I kind of felt like, she feels as though we're reading them, so it's kind of feeding into it way too much now. So I told them this looks like this would be my last reading on her letters. But anywho, 12 degrees in Birmingham. So Alabama, feeling some of those temperatures right now. Okay, so right now, Holland, Michigan is at a 7-degree temperature. Blizzard conditions are all throughout the Great Lakes area. We were talking about all through down Benton Harbor through South Bend with that white out snow. where they cannot see in front of them, almost basically a blizzard, but that blizzard on top of whited out snow, which means not only is it just a blizzard, but they cannot see in front of them, right? So I-94 completely shut down at the moment. But Grand Rapids, Michigan, looking at 25 miles an hour wind all through Grand Rapids right now. So a lot of them are not outside. A lot of people are not outside. When you're talking about 25-mile-an-hour winds that are in these Omaha, Nebraska, right at 1 degree temperature, guys. Omaha, Nebraska at and by tonight it'll be down to -4. So I heard what was going down in did you guys hear what happened in South Dakota? South Dakota, I mean, they're just doomed. They're doomed in South Dakota. I mean, I don't even want to say that, but I just can't even begin to tell what's going on in South Dakota. But they are used to that weather there, right? This is what they see every year. But for me, I don't know how they do it, right? They say in South Dakota, if you over throughout North Dakota, if you just stand out there in that snow for like 10 minutes, it's a wrap, right? So I don't even want to think about that. Right now, they're considering that whiteout snow now just turning into, we talked about that foot or two in front of you that you could perhaps see. Now they're talking about no visibility. So as the night tears on, as the weather gets worse, they are talking about no visibility at all. No visibility at all. Those of you that have pets that are still out and about, continually see if you can look for them, call their names. Drive around to the lower neighborhood behind you, or the lower the area that's in front of you. Just see if you can call. A lot of times they can hear your voice miles away, so yell out their names. We used to do that, used to do that, but now I really don't let my cats out anymore like that. But what we would do in the past is we'd yell their names every 5 or 10 minutes. We'd open up the door and yell their names so they can hear you. They can hear you, and a lot of the times they are safe, guys. It is below zero right now where Majestic Pharaoh is. So a lot of times they will hear you. So do not feel I know it's anxiety, and I know it's very, very stressful when they're outdoors. I know that, honey. I know that. Trust me, I've been there before, our Jinxie, and I really do not want to speak about Jinxie right now. Jinxie passed over 2 years ago, but we had Jinxie for almost 14 years. So Jinxie sometimes would do this. Okay, um my little Jinxie will be waiting in heaven for me when I get there, right? That's my Jinxie. And you guys, these animals and pets are like family members. So when people are talking about their pets and family members, I mean pets and family, when people are talking about their cats and dogs, it is like family to them. They will get anxiety. People will stress the crap out, right? It's never ever a good feeling. So my hat's off to those of you that that knew storm was coming and made sure. But those of you where your pets and stuff may have panicked and went to go hide or do whatever, just trust and know they will be home soon. Just every now and then open up that back door. Every now and then open up that front door. Yell out their names. Sometimes dogs will hide out. Sometimes dogs will come home. Cats are known to stay gone for a few days when a snowstorm hits. And just know that they're coming home. So those of you that have pets out there, they will come home. So just give them some time and continue to call. We used to call out their names, right? And then one or two would pop up within the next hour or so is what we would do. And then one year, Jinxie stayed gone for like 3 days one time, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. During a big snowstorm we had here, it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Jinxie drove us insane that year. But she finally did come home, but then a couple of years later, she passed after living a good 14 years. My other babies, how old are my other babies? My other babies are like 10 years and 11 years old and 9 years old, my other babies. And then I think one of my other babies are like, so 7, 9, and and 11 years old, something like that. They're all different. But yes, yes, yes. My fur baby passed in April. Teacup Yorkie. She was old and 2 pounds. Oh, 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 poor baby. I know. Don't you just lose your mind? I know. I lost my mind for about a good solid 2 weeks after my Jinxie. But I know my Jinxie is in heaven waiting for me. The day I go into heaven, Jinxie's gonna come running up to me, right? That's I already know that. It's like I've already got that pictured in my mind that Jinxie's just gonna come running up to me and be like, and she's just gonna be like nothing never happened, right, y'all? My cat, we named him Crybaby. He was going throughout the whole entire Crybaby. Yep. So if y'all want to know what my 5 cats' names is, y'all type in !cats. Those are 5 of my cats' name. And then I did not add my mountain lion cat, basically, because he was a human, but his name is Prince. But if you guys want the names of my other 5 cats, type in !cats, and that'll let you guys know there. What about the dogs? A lot of times dogs will come home before the blizzard. A lot of times they will come home before the blizzard, but if not, sometimes if they have more of that wolf gene in them, right? If they have a little bit more of that wolf gene in them, they will instinctively travel together and stay warm together. And it's in a situation like this. If they are outside and something like this happens, instinctively their brains will snap into like a wolf mode type of pack mentality. They will seek each other out and warm up and stay together. They will be huddled together to stay warm in these type of conditions. So sometimes you will have one that will leave away and feel as though their owner is calling their names or whatever, and they may try to leave from the pack, right? And sometimes they could freeze on the way back home. And so it's not that they don't know what to do in these temperatures, but they got a little bit of that humanism stuff mixed in them with their wolf stuff. They want to get back home to their humans, but also they have the mentality. And so yes, we talked about that earlier about cats. We talked about cats will huddle together instinctively. Like if they're out a day or two before a storm, they will know a storm is going to hit before it happens, right? And they will huddle together and stay huddled for days at a time, and even go without food, y'all. This is just the way that they do things as instinctively as animal. But sometimes if you're an owner and you are calling out your pet's name, and if they feel like you're close enough, or they get that, get that uncture just to go out there and run, then you might get your pet back in the middle of a storm like this. Baltimore right now looking at 12 degrees. Right now, Watertown, New York is sitting pretty quietly with their snow down at 16 degrees. There's no blizzard-like snow happening. They just have a lot of wind gusts. Wind gusts are at 23 miles an hour right now over there in Watertown, New York. Blizzard conditions likely going all the way until Christmas. So this storm is not letting up. The storm is not going to be letting up. So I hope that everyone has all of their things. Yes, they're going to have a flash freeze tonight for New York. New York, the center of New York, looking at 16 degrees, still at a 23 miles an hour. No snow really on the ground in the central area. They've got all of that, not necessarily I want to say plowed away, but most of it's just not there. They're just still looking at that 16 degree. And then as the night approaches, they will be down into that 40 miles an hour wind, y'all. 40 miles an hour is what knocks out the power, right? I think it has to hit like 30 to 40 miles an hour to get that power knocked out, right? So remember what we talked about, 1.2 million people already without power. 1.2 million people without power right now as we speak. They're talking about those winds perhaps getting up to 50 miles an hour. Can you imagine a 15-mile-an-hour wind? So 50 miles an hour wind they're looking at as the night drags on. 40 miles an hour winds from 36 to 40 miles an hour wind picking up in New York area. Idaho right now, the Boise area is looking at 19-degree weather. That's where we typically are. in Atlanta, if we do get this, we're kind of like at the, in January, we'll be at that 19 mark, 20 mark. But for Atlanta to see this kind of weather right now, this is shocking. I can't remember the last time that, yeah, it's all natural. Yeah, it's their natural instincts to survive. That's all natural. Um, typically, like I said, we're not used to this ice. We're not used to things being. We don't have any snow here. We don't have any snow here, right here in North Atlanta where I'm at. There is no snow. So Buffalo, New York is looking at 12 degrees with that blizzard still happening over there in Buffalo, New York. They are in the red zone. They are in the red over there. But typically we do not get ice in Atlanta where I'm at. I'm not in the actual city. I'm not in the actual city of Atlanta. I'm in the suburbs of Atlanta. I'm in North Atlanta. And we do not get any ice until January, right? So all of my water fountains are frozen solid outside. Flash freeze warning throughout the Northeast tonight, guys. Charlotte, North Carolina is looking at a 10-degree temperature. It's 2 degrees downtown Detroit right now where I live. It feels like -2. That's because of that wind chill. You guys, sometimes we do Weather Barbie on this channel. This is our 3rd time. Oh, is this natural weather? No, this is not typical. I have not seen this type of weather in the past 10 years. I have not seen it myself. I have not seen it like this in the past 10 years as far as this early snow, this early creeping up of all these blizzards and storm, all of these negative numbers and these single digits. Most of the time does not typically happen until after Christmas or that first week of January, right? And then in with that area where they're talking about Michigan typically does not see blizzards until February. We typically do not see those blizzards until February. So this is very, very early this year. Very, very early. We do not see freezing temperatures in North Atlanta until at least the 2nd or 3rd week of January. So for us to have our water fountains frozen outside, all of my water fountains are frozen solid. I'm not talking about a little bit of ice on there where you can knock through and still get the water. I'm talking frozen solid. So I had a place in Kennesaw, Georgia, Barbie, and in Kennesaw, in the hospital. Okay, so Kennesaw, Georgia. Sometimes it does get a little bit colder there, where Kennesaw is. Kennesaw is probably about a good 2 hours from me, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Maybe I think maybe a little bit more. Yeah, it's about a good 2 hours. So Kennesaw is about 2 hours from me. Denver. Oh, Detroit is looking at perhaps a 4-degree. Yeah, so he said it's 2 degrees downtown, but the greater part of Detroit is experiencing 4-degree temperature. Des Moines, Iowa is at a -5. They already knew. Let me stop. No, just keep going. So guys, we do the weather on this channel. That we have a Weather Barbie button. Sometimes Barbie does do the weather when things get really, really bad, right? Right now, Benton Harbor, Michigan is at 4 degrees. 4 degrees with that whiteout snow effect. The reason why I know a lot about Benton Harbor, because that is originally where I am from. I was born and raised there. Then we moved to Niles. And then I've been here in Atlanta half my life. So yes, yes, yes. Benton Harbor, all the way down to South Bend, Indiana. They're looking at whiteout snow, which means there is no visibility. You cannot see in front of you. Earlier, they had to where you could see 1 or 2 feet in front of you. Now it is complete whiteout snow, blinding effect type of snow, which means blinding me. You will not be able to see. So I'm sure if people are crazy enough, I'm sure there's no cars on the road. I'm sure all these roads are blocked off. So basically, we want to consider them snowed in early for this year. Snowed in early. So like I said, that Benton Harbor area tonight that has got that 4-degree weather and that whiteout snow, typically they do not see this whiteout snow until the very end of January going into February. So can you believe it? While a lot of us are warming up on the East Coast, they're actually getting blizzards in the Midwest in February. So I'm assuming more blizzards are to come for that area. This is a very, very early type of blizzard, right, y'all? for that north west. Then we're talking about what is going on, oh, way, 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 way far on the East Coast. Over there in Maine, they are up into 2 to 4 feet of water. Gas stations are flooded out in Maine right now as we speak. There's 4 feet of water on the coastal areas of Maine right now as we speak. That water came surging over. Jacksonville, Florida is at a 36-degree temperature. If that lets you know, we're talking about Florida. Florida is going to be, the Jacksonville area will be down into 22 degrees tonight. Down by 22 degrees already in Jacksonville, Florida. So if that gives you an idea of what that is like, that is something that they typically don't experience this time of year. 12 degrees, -4 wind chill in Atlanta. Right. She's talking about in that heart of Atlanta. I'm probably about a good solid hour away from Atlanta. I am a good solid hour away from Atlanta. So we do have some of those winds here. We do have some of those temperatures. It is said for us, I think we're going to, Las Vegas right now is at a 42 degrees. So if that tells you guys right now, you say, wow, Las Vegas is at 40. That tells you that everybody is experiencing this cold weather tonight in some way or form. I am a convertible driver. I drive convertibles all of my life. 70 degrees is considered the perfect convertible weather, right? Where it's just before it gets too cold to be in that convertible. So 70 degrees, Los Angeles has that 70-degree perfect weather, right? But by tonight, Los Angeles will be down in that 45 degrees. So they were looking at that convertible weather. Tomorrow, Los Angeles will be back to that convertible weather, right? That 77, that 70-degree mark. But then at night, they will dip right back down into that 30 degrees, right? Which is something just Louisville, Kentucky, looking at 0 degrees tonight, getting ready to drop down into the negatives. The blizzard right now that is going on in eastern Michigan, right? That is where I'm from. I'm from eastern Michigan. That is where I'm naturally from. So you guys, I know what these blizzards are like. I know what it is to experience these blizzards. I know what it is to go through these blizzards, and I'm definitely not wanting to go back, right? Definitely not. I've been away from there half my life, and there's nothing that makes me want to. Miami right now is looking at 73 degree weather, but by nightfall into the AM, they will be in 46 degrees, right? So remember, we talk about that convertible weather just to give you guys an ideal of what convertible weather is like. That means having that top down, driving through some bit of a warmth, but yet a little tiny touch of coolness where it's at the maximum of having that convertible top down. So if they are experiencing convertible weather, is what we convertible drivers call convertible weather, it's at 70 degrees. Right? But then tonight, they will be down in the 40s, surprisingly. So everyone is going to get a little bit of this snippet of this cold weather that is going on. Minneapolis is at a 3 degrees right now, -9 by the AM. -9 by the AM. Nashville, Tennessee at a 5-degree weather right now. This is Tennessee that we're talking about. They have wind gusts right now in Nashville, Tennessee, as we speak. The oceans are I mean, come on. Everything is just going mayhem. Okay, Nashville, it's 5 degrees. Little Rock, Arkansas, it's 16 degrees. Denver, it is -1. I mean, you guys, it is just freezing everywhere. There's no way out of this. There is no way out of this. New Orleans right tonight is looking at 38 degrees, 30 full degrees all the way into the AM. New York City is at a 14 degree, but it feels like 0. It feels like 0 right now. So for them, they are experiencing this weather, right? No convertible weather in sight. Not anywhere on the map but Las Vegas tomorrow and Miami. Miami and Las Vegas will be the only convertible weather to drive around in the afternoon with that 70-degree mark, that 77-degree mark. And then by the time night falls, it's back into those 30 and 40-degree temperatures for even Las Vegas and Miami. So that gives you an idea where we're at and what is happening, right? Guys, we have been, those of you that are just walking in, hit that like button. Those of you that are just walking in, hit that like button. We have been covering the weather for about an hour as we wait for Damn D's show to start in about 30 minutes. Okay, Oklahoma City looking at 17 degrees, right? 57 million. So remember what we talked about earlier. It was 1.26 million people without power. But within the next coming days, as they approach, 10 million people will be under blizzard warnings. 10 million people will be under blizzard-like warning. For Buffalo, we talked about this when people were asking earlier, has this happened before? This is a once-in-a-lifetime storm for Buffalo, New York. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep in mind, knowing as we speak in layman terms about this weather, this is a lifetime storm for Buffalo, New York. So those of you that are in Buffalo, New York, hunker down. Do not even think that you are going outside. State of an emergency for South Dakota right now. South Dakota is in a state of emergency. Remember, we talked about South Dakota and North Dakota earlier. We talked about them being used to this, but this is a double whammy for them. 57 million people are in a freeze warning as we speak. 57 million people. 10 million people under a blizzard warning, right? 1.264 without power. So again, 1.26 million without power right now, 10 million that are in 10 million that are looking at this freezing, and also some of these areas are having precipitation mixed in it that is coming in off of that east coast, the super side of that east coast that is coming off that ocean. The ocean has been coming in onto land. Gas stations are flooded out all throughout Maine. Some areas are up to 4 feet of water. Some areas are up to 2 feet of water. Gas stations are literally half, let's say half the pump, but I say a quarter way up the pump. It is completely covered in water. And that is because of that wind. All of that wind is blowing. They are calling this the Great Lakes Storm. We've got the Great Lakes Storm, that is pushing that wind off of those lakes. And then we've got the other side on the East Coast where those winds are coming in. And that is what's making, areas like Miami dip down into the 40 degrees. That is what's causing Miami to dip down into that 38, 40 degree weather. Portland, Oregon tomorrow will be at 44 degrees mixed in with rain. Raleigh, North Carolina sitting at 20 degrees still. Their weather has not changed or dropped in Raleigh, but by tonight going into the AM, Raleigh, North Carolina will be at 11 degrees, right? So, thank you, IDK, for that super chat. Thank you. IDK say this is what happens when you vote people in that destroy the earth. It's reasons why back in the day we used to never use oil and pollute. It's part of we all know what he's talking about, right? It's part of that, exactly what's said right there. Rapid City, South Dakota right now at 16 degrees. Reno, Nevada at 47 degrees. They say that Chicago considers 55 degrees convertible weather. That's because they are so used to being out in the cold. They've got to just pick a temperature to drive, or they'll never get that top down, right? So, but in Atlanta, where it's a little that 70 mark and a little bit under is, it's kind of like the little guideline. Sacramento, California is at a 51 degrees, but as the AM continues to come in, Sacramento will be down to a 39 degree, right? So everyone is feeling this effects of this. Salt Lake City right now at 28 degrees. They're saying it feels like 21, right? Because of that wind. With the whiteout snow that is going on through Michigan right now, in that east part of Michigan, they are in whiteout snow type of conditions. This is the kind of storm you do not need to run to the grocery store or run to a family friend's house to go get anything or to try to rescue anybody, because these type of snowstorms can all of a sudden just start up within 5 minutes, and before you know it, you can't see in front of you, right? They're considering this blinding snow, right? They're considering this. You said I'm They are considering this blinding snow, right? And he said he's frozen. Right. So definitely, if you're in North and South Dakota, I heard those areas, you just can't even stand outside for more than 10 minutes without, you know, San Diego, 69 degrees. I mean, so guys, as this gets crazier, right now at Beaufort, we are at 27 degrees. Right now, tomorrow we're going to warm up a little bit where I am, but San Francisco area, 60 degrees, dropping down to 44 and all the way into the AM. Seattle is at 36 degrees. So if you guys are starting to get an idea of what's happening, let's go back to that Buffalo, New York area. They said they're considering Buffalo, New York, a state of an emergency. They are saying it is a blizzard warning. They are saying it's a once in a lifetime storm for them, a once in a lifetime storm. So if you guys can imagine that right there alone is scary enough for me, right? I mean, I did. That's one place then we brought up earlier the homeless. Remember, there are homeless, there are homeless people. Look, he said I had to go outside and pee at it. But look, guys, look at him. So right now, okay, yeah, so we're talking, go back to that main area right now. The winds that's what we were talking about earlier, is those winds were pushing that water on land, right? So all of that water is coming onto shore, pushing it all the way in through Maine. And like I said, some parts of Maine is just completely flooded out. Gas stations are flooded, places are flooded out. Some people have had to actually leave that area. Over in Long Island, New York is flooded. Long Island looking at about a good foot of water flood, up to 2 feet over there on Long Island. Some areas are a little bit lower, but they are starting to flood out as the rest of the country is starting to freeze, right? So, okay, that the Bills from the Chicago, that game was banned due to the weather. So they have banned games. The airports were closed. I-94 is shut down in Michigan right now. I-94 is closed. It is completely shut down. You cannot see in front of you. You cannot see in front of you right now near I-94 in Michigan. There is complete whiteout. Tractor trailers are pulled over on side of the road. None of the highway is moving. There was a multi-vehicle crash where there was tons of cars involved in, right? Because we talked about that whiteout snow, right? So you guys, I mean, so let's see, we're going a little bit more. And then I'm gonna jump off of here, guys, and we're gonna go over to Damn D's chat and go hang out over there. He's going to be talking about Queen Regina tonight. Yeah, that lake effect is what's caused this huge blizzard, right? This huge blizzard. Chicago, the winds are at 17 miles an hour right now. The gusts are going up to 35 miles an hour in Chicago. So it's a constant 17 miles an hour blow. But then if the gust picks up, it gets to 35 miles an hour. Those are when it starts to bite your cheeks and lips. So definitely you do not want to be outside. I know it's kind of a cool idea to go run out there and make a quick snowman. Tonight's not the night. Tonight's not one of those nights where you can go outside and make 9,000 flights delayed. 5,000 of them have been canceled. So think about all the people that were supposed to be flying out to see loved ones for the holidays, people that are now maybe laid over or sitting somewhere in an airport for the holidays. So just when you think you have it bad, there's some people that have it worse, right? Wonder how many fans will be at Soldier Field tomorrow. No tailgating and tents allowed. Ooh, I don't know. They might say no to all of that. Who knows? I don't think there will be. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is, guys. It is definitely one of those nights to stay inside, y'all. It is definitely one of those times. Wow, unbelievable. There's some areas in Bismarck looking at negative 22. Bismarck looking at, wow, guys, we just cannot say this enough. Boise, Idaho, I'm sorry, looking at 21 degrees. Man, they just have snow, so they're safe. Oh, wait a minute, no, Boise, Idaho might be getting some rain mixed in with that snow, causing it to sleet and causing some ice. Oh, you said don't go. Yeah, we're getting ready to go over to DMD's live here in just a minute, but I did want Weather Barbie to touch in for just a little bit for you guys, just so we can talk about what's going on around this map. Right, everyone on the map is experiencing this right now in the nation. Everyone in the nation is experiencing this quick cold snap of this weather that we're having. They're getting salt out. They're trying to get these salt trucks out to kind of help alleviate some of these things so that some people can have a little bit of a, but Buffalo, New York is probably one of the most unsafest places to be right now, as they're having particularly like the storm of the century. We want to say it's the storm of the century for them right now because of the fact they are saying this is the storm of a lifetime. For some of the, I guess people are saying if you live 100 years, you might see one of these bad storms. Well, you just so happen to be alive right now while one of these bad storms are happening right now for Buffalo, New York. But I did hear Benton Harbor, Michigan, all the way down to South Bend, Indiana. They are in complete white out over there. They are in complete white out. I don't know if those areas will be talked about as much because, those areas are not considered to be, the bigger, greater cities of Michigan and or Indiana, even though South Bend, being, one of the main areas over there in Indiana, Chicago is at a -2 degrees by the AMs. So yes, you say buzzing like damn, right? But he's getting ready to go live, so we're gonna go over there and support him, right? But we're just talking about this weather really quick because you guys know that Weather Barbie does pop up once in a blue moon. Ben 73 said he's going to Florida tonight and it's going to be 31 degrees. Yeah, see, everyone is feeling this. And like I said, guys, this gives you an idea of what is going on. Where I'm at right now, we do not see any freezing weather at least until the mid-January area. We do not freeze over or get icy trees or anything like this until January. And even when it freezes, sometimes it's only frozen for like a day or two, and then we're back to normal. Some years we'll go, we won't even get snow, right? So you got, oh, Dr. Nikki said I hit you on IG. Yes, you found me. Okay, good. Okay. I'll definitely be getting back to that soon after the holidays. So you guys there, but they're saying all this stuff is headed towards Kentucky, all the way down to Kentucky. Kentucky right now is at a 2-degree temperature. So I think South Carolina has been in the 20-degree mark. Yeah, all of my water fountains are frozen outside. I am not used to my water fountains being this frozen outside. I went out there today and literally I could knock on the ice and there was no water below it. And typically that is not until mid-January. And that's if we get freezing temperatures in January. Sometimes it misses us, right? So for me to be going through this right now is a complete shock. It almost is like for us a little bit coldness of a lifetime. Like I know I'm not trying to compare my situation to anyone that's up further north because they are calling this the storm of the century for them, right? They're calling this once in a lifetime storm that they will experience. And it is happening right now as we approach the holidays. And they said this snow and this storm is not letting up until a little bit well after Christmas. So it's not going down. It's not going to change. So everybody stay safe, stay indoors. Do not feel like you need to be a hero or check on anybody or anything unless it is a complete emergency. Flagstaff, Arizona, down into the 23-degree mark tonight, right? There will be down in the 23-degree mark tonight, right? That's like our weather in February. I mean, in January. That's as low as I think the lowest I've seen it here, I think was 19 degrees. I think that 19 degrees is the lowest I've ever seen it here, right? And that's even with snow on the ground a little bit, or maybe if we have an ice storm. If we have an ice storm, I think the lowest it's ever been was 9. So if we were to get a lot of rain right now mixed in with this, then we would be hit too, right? We have a little bit of slight precipitation over here, but nothing to write home about, right, y'all? Nothing to write home about. So definitely thankful and grateful for that. Houston right now is at a 28 degrees. Let me go check over there on Damn D's live to see when he's jumping on. Let's see. Let's check that real quick. I do not know what is going on here. So let me double check. Y'all know damn D be sometimes slipping on us. So let's check, and y'all, let's just see real quick. Is he going live on his beef channel or the POV channel, y'all? I know Just Saying typically knows. Just Saying, is he going live on the beef channel or the POV channel? So he should be going live, what, in about 10 more minutes? Let me see. Yep. So he's going to be live in about 15 more minutes, y'all. You guys hit that like button coming in. So guys, we've been over here for about an hour just covering the weather for everybody. Oh, on the POV's channel. Yeah, I think I found it now. He goes live in 15 minutes. So as we get ready to go over there, guys, I just wanted to check in with everybody and talk about this weather situation really quick. And for everybody kind of wanted me to cover this. So I've covered it really quick. And guys, we're going to close out the show, and we're going to get ready to head over there to Damn D, get your water and everything ready, or whatever y'all need to do. We're going to be over there having some fun tonight. Lady Blue, you're just walking in. We've been over here for an hour covering the weather. It's cold in Memphis. Right. Cadillac is here. Y'all, we're getting ready to go over to Damn D's channel in a little bit, in about 10, 15 minutes. We've been here for an hour covering the weather. Those of you that missed it and want to hear about everything that's going on all the way over the map. We're talking about the East Coast. We were talking about the West Coast. We were talking about Midwest, right? We're talking about this being a storm of a lifetime for Buffalo, New York, right? And even for some of us that are within that area, we're talking about South Bend, Indiana, all the way up to Benton Harbor, Michigan, as they are in a whiteout storm. Typically, these whiteout storms don't happen until end of January, moving into that second week of February, right? We're talking about Tampa getting cold. We're talking about Miami dipping down into the 38-degree mark by tonight, which is unheard of. We're talking about Nevada. Nevada is even going to be in the low 30s by tonight as they go into the AM. Chicago at a -1, Cincinnati at a -4, Cleveland. All of these areas that are in the negative right now as the storm approaches. A lot of these areas are experiencing 26 miles an hour wind, right? 16 to 26 miles an hour wind. 1.264 million people without power. 1.26 million already without power. 10 million people are in effect for a winter storm tonight in the red zone, in a dangerous zone area. 36 million by the next day or so coming in will all be in effect for this dangerous storm that is approached and that is coming off of that Lake Michigan. The Lake Michigan effect that is causing this storm. And over on the East Coast, they are dealing with massive flooding all through Maine. Right now in Long Island areas, New York, they are dealing with massive floods right now. 2 to 4 feet worth of water flooding out all the gas stations, flooding up off the shore, coming inland. A lot of these areas are actually flooded out right now. New Orleans down to 29 degrees. 26 by tonight. That kind of gives you an idea. The winds are blowing. Traffic lights are falling off as we speak right now in New York. New York area, they've had a lot of damaging winds. All of the traffic lights, just for some reason, cannot withstand this wind. They talked about the storm of a lifetime for Buffalo, New York. Now they're talking about Rochester as far as the winds and the damaging winds that are causing the buildings to break up off of the roofs. And some of these traffic lights cannot withstand the super gust. I think it's the gusting of that wind. The winds are at 19 miles an hour, but when that gust happens, the winds can get up to 36 miles an hour, causing these power lines and things to freeze, right? And then for them to snap right off onto the street. So sometimes it's not about the ice on the roads or the snow, but you got to look for falling objects. Over in Buffalo right now, it is 7 degrees. So the blizzard conditions on I-90 continues to still be a terrible situation. They are still clearing up that massive accident that happened on I-94. They're still getting all that cleared as they cannot see in front of them. We have tons of tractor trailers that are stalled over on the side of the roads for the night that is not allowed to drive. um, all of these conditions, all of these situations. Omaha, Nebraska, looking at 1 degrees. Guys, we were talking about Nebraska. We were talking about North and South Dakota, where you only can stand out there maybe for 10 minutes and you got to get back inside or you will freeze. Those areas that are kind of used to this weather, they are still experiencing this a lot sooner and a lot colder this year. So even those areas that are used to these weather type storms, it's happening early for them this year. It's happening early for them. They typically don't see a lot of this mayhem until after the holidays, right? So everybody is getting this smack in the face, early this year. All these people that are stranded at the airports right now, all of these people that are either laid over or flights have been canceled. I think it was like over 500,000. Some people just laid over with delayed flights. And I think like 10,000 flights were canceled, like absolutely saying, no way, you can't fly at all to this area. -7 degrees right now in Mansfield. Right. It seems like it is just as the night wears on, right? Buffalo, New York is experiencing 50 to 60 miles an hour wind. That's why they said this is a storm of a lifetime, right? You will only see this storm once like this in a lifetime, is what they are predicting. Rochester, 50 to 60 miles an hour wind. Ashford, 40 to 50 miles an hour wind. Bath, 40 to 50 miles an hour wind. So all of these areas right here that are within that area, they are calling this storm Elliott. Winter Storm Elliott is in full effect. The stuff that is happening off of the Great Lakes is what caused this storm. Michigan is so impacted by this storm. The east part of Michigan is really getting hit very, very hard right now, where they are considering it whiteout conditions right now, from Benton Harbor, Michigan, all the way down to South Bend, Indiana. They are in a complete whiteout. So, but what's happening over there in Buffalo, New York, they have a full-on blizzard, right? 1.2 million without power. Maine is completely without power. New Hampshire is completely without power. New York, 92,000 people without power. Pennsylvania, 77,000 people. Massachusetts, 74,000 people without power. So Maine is the one that we were talking about earlier, right? Because they are experiencing that 4-foot area of flooding, that 2-foot area of flooding. We were talking about that earlier. So it doesn't matter what side of the map you're on, right? At this point, it really doesn't matter, because you will experience some of this cold weather. You will experience some of this. So even with Miami and even with Las Vegas, they will be cold tonight, right? And then they will warm back up in the 70-degree temperatures by morning. And then they will dip back down into that 38-degree mark, right? So we're talking about the warmest areas right now on the map that is still experiencing up to 38-degree weather by tonight. So that's what's surprising to all of us, that this is considered, a once in a lifetime thing. Everyone is experiencing frozen pipes, pipes that are bursting right now, right? A lot of people are experiencing frozen pipes. Uh, if you guys want to, you can. What we used to do up north is you leave your little faucet on a little bit of a drip, so that you do not burst your pipes. You can leave the water on a little bit of a drip. Just turn it enough to where it just drips, a little bit. Make sure that kind of the kitchen, maybe a bathtub or two. As we were talking about those generators earlier, make sure that all those generators are outside. Make sure all those generators are outside, not your garage. Do not put those generators in a garage or an outside air. It needs to be outdoors, where all those damaging chemicals can escape into the air. I don't even want to say it that way, because it's like either way, it's damaging chemicals being put into the atmosphere. But do not try to fix these things yourself. You guys have to have a plumber when your pipe bursts. This is not something you can handle on your own. You have to have a plumber to come out with that. So for all of these people, just kind of put your if you're going to be down by the 20-degree mark, I would suggest a small drip of that faucet if you're going to be in the 20-degree mark. Some areas, if that wind chills, if you have huge whipping winds, I would say the maximum 30 degrees, to let one or two things drop a little bit overnight. But you typically, like, if you're going to be in the 38-degree and all that stuff, you do not need to do the dripping drop of the fountains I say the fountains, like I'm talking about fountains out front. Those are going to just freeze up anyway. But inside the home, have it at a little bit of a constant drip. If you're going to be down in those 20s marks tonight, you can do that. But yeah, everything it's just completely. I mean, these folks playing with the weather believe that I'm right. Exactly. Yeah, this is not the time to be a hero or go rescue anybody or try to get something last minute, because these storms can just pick up all of a sudden. And like what happened on I-94 today, it just turned into a whiteout situation in front of them. They could not see, and I think it was like a 20-car accident involved. And they are still actually cleaning up that accident right now as we speak, because they cannot see, because of the simple fact it's a whiteout snow type of situation over there on that I-94 area. That highway is completely closed right now as they are cleaning up that over 20-car accident, right? And that is just because people could not see. It just all of a sudden out of nowhere, complete whiteout, right? So they call it blinding snow. The blinding snow is happening in Michigan right now. In that lower east part of Michigan, they're experiencing that blinding snow. Tulsa, Oklahoma right now will be down at 9 degrees by a.m. 9 degrees going into the a.m. Tulsa, Oklahoma. And even tomorrow, they still don't have a chance. It'll be down up to 29 degrees and it'll dip right back down into 14. Washington, D.C., looking at 15-degree weather right now. Feeling like 1 degrees for them though. Now they're seeing a 35-car pileup. Okay, so earlier it was 20. Now I guess because now they're really out there getting a good count. They're now really out there trying to clean up everything. So that I-94 had a 35-car, I'm sure, pileup. So yes, guys, we've been here for an hour and 20 minutes talking about the weather. We are going to close out. Those of you that missed it, if you want to rewind it and just kind of keep listening about that weather around the clock, we talked about pets, we talked about the generators, we talked about all of that stuff in this channel. We talked about what's coming in the next couple of days, that the blizzard is not letting up for most of the areas where it's happening right now. It's not letting up. They're considering this a storm of the century. Already 1.2 some odd million people without power right now as we speak. Over there in Maine, the offshore is flooding on land. Parts of Maine is flooded. Parts of Long Island, New York is flooded. The winds are at 36 miles an hour for most people. The winds by tonight, within the next hour, will get up to 50 to 60 miles an hour's worth of wind by tonight. By the time you get off this internet and go check on anything around your house, within the next less than an hour, they will be up to 50 to 60. Listen, this is insane. They will be up to 50 to 60 miles an hour wind, all the way over across the map, coming from over through Michigan, blasting all the way through that New York area, all the way Rochester area. All of them will be in that 50 to 60 mile an hour wind. So that is something that we call it Weather Barbie over here. I've done the weather at least 3 times over here. We talked about the flooding happening in Maine. Then we talked about the day before with those massive earthquakes that were happening over there in California, right? The 6.4 earthquake that happened in that Southern California area. The Northern California area. And then the following day, they had like a 4 point something after that. And then on the East Coast, way on the east, we've got this massive flooding. We've got cars that are flooded out. People are being rescued from their cars in Maine from the flooding. We have gas stations that are flooded out in Maine, Long Island, New York. There is flooding. Gas stations up to 2 feet in water. Some areas are up to 4 feet. Buffalo is looking at 36 miles an hour wind. The gusts can get up to 60 miles an hour at any good time. Detroit is looking at 30 miles an hour wind with gusts up to 43 miles an hour wind at times. Portland is at an 18-degree temperature tonight, looking at the 20-mile-an-hour winds, right? All the lower southern areas will be down to 32 degrees in temperature tonight, all throughout the upper part of New York, around all these areas, right? Portland, all these Boston, all of these areas will be looking past this 32 mark all into the next coming days. Buffalo, New York, right now, still at that 12 degrees with that constant snow. Wildcats are inside now, huh? Yeah, Wildcats. Right, cool. That's a little inside joke. Exactly. Lord have mercy. Blinding snow. Yes, all that travel, all the things are okay. So they're considered Hartford, Connecticut right now is saying that this is just a shock to them, which is, hey, they're calling this the winter storm Elliott, and travel is at a standstill. Travel is at a standstill right now. Guys, we've been here for an hour and a half covering the weather. I'm about to jump off right now. Let me check. It says, let me see. D is going to go live in about, I'm trying to check. D goes, I think, where is he at? D is going to go live in a minute. So I'm going to jump off of here, guys, and we're going to go over there. And if something massive happens tonight, maybe I'll jump on and do another show tonight, because we're going to get, a lot of places are going to get down into the single digits. So like right now, tomorrow, Chicago is going to be 13 degrees. But by their AM the following day, they'll be back into the single digits. So -3 for Cincinnati tonight. So we may come back tonight. I'm not sure. And talk about this some more. But guys, we're going to close out the show right now and head over to wait for Damn D.